here with a legend, Harley Flanagan. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
I've been reading your book,
Okay.
and I'm finding your story very interesting. I mean, I knew you from back in the day in New York. You had a reputation, but I never knew your history. Growing up partially in Denmark, and then your childhood parts in New York. How do you think now, when you look back at Denmark, do you wish that maybe you had stayed there?
That's funny. No one's ever asked me that before. No one outside of my immediate family and friends, actually. But I used to think so. I when I was younger, wow, no one's ever asked me that before. I used to think that I would have been better off had I stayed there, you know, because I grew up extremely fast. But I wouldn't have achieved even a small percentage of the things that I've done had I stayed there, because I wouldn't have had the opportunities. I wouldn't have been coming in contact with as many iconic people. I mean, that's not a word I use loosely or easily, but I have met a lot of really influential people. I mean, whether it was, you know, The Clash or Andy Warhol or Johnny Thunders or, you know, the list goes on and on. I mean, so, I mean, I think my childhood might have been less insane had I stayed there. I mean, but it was already nuts. I mean, you know, my family were hippies over there, so they weren't like your normal Danish.
You were in the commune.
Yeah, I lived in Christiania, and I mean, but no, moving to New York was important. I wouldn't have left the impact or reached as many people. You know, for whatever reason, I seem to have made some sort of a positive impact on a lot of people, even though I don't see how I could have, but I did, and I don't think I would have had that reach or even those experiences to share with people had I not moved to New York. So, you know, it happened for a reason.
And you've had so much happening in your life. I mean, you have to read the book to understand that.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's very much so. And all of that, playing drums at such a young age with a band that everybody knew about.
Yeah.
And now you've kind of gone through so many stages. You've had so much happen in your life. And you've come out the other side. And it's, you know, here you are in England, not your first time, playing with a band, playing some of your old stuff. Are you playing any of your new stuff as well?
Yeah, we do play a good amount of the new material on this. I don't want to say comeback tour, but I haven't been out touring in a while, so we're naturally touching a lot of the old material because people want to hear it, people want to see it. You know, including stuff from Best Wishes, and you know, I think we're doing some stuff from Revenge and Alpha Omega and stuff, because, you know, people are always requesting that I play stuff besides just the Age of Quarrel stuff. I mean, of course, I do some of those songs, but I think the next time we come back, we'll be focusing more on newer material. Right now, we just gotta, you know, we gotta give the people what they've been wanting. You know?
It's something that everybody wants to catch up on.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of these kids never saw any of those songs live, because when John's CRO-MAGS tour, they only are able to play Age of Quarrel songs. So a lot of people that have the other records and grew up on those other records have actually never even seen those songs performed live. So for that reason, I really have to. I mean, I got to give them what they want, you know. Even though I want to play more of the new music, and we have started playing some of it live, you know, we try to mix it up. Try to give them what they want, you know.
And do you find, because back in the day, I remember seeing you at very mixed gigs. CRO-MAGS would be on the same bill with Nuclear Assault and things like that.
Yeah.
And how do you find, because I've seen that the audience tonight is a very mixed audience. There's hardcore kids, there's metalheads. Do you find that's typical from your audiences?
You know, lately, I mean, over the last 20 years or so.
Lately for us.
Yeah, I know. Lately for me, it seems like there's a lot more splintered off little genres within the genres. Like back then, if you were into any sort of alternative music, you would wind up at a whole wide variety of different types of bands. I mean, when I was coming up, you'd go see whatever first generation hardcore band, whether it was Bad Brains, Black Flag. You'd also go see, all the punk bands that were still happening. I would go see whatever, Susie and the Banshees. I'd go see The Clash. I'd go see the Bad Brains. I'd go see what. It wasn't as I only listened to this genre, or and even there's so many different kinds of metal. I don't even know what the fuck is what. It's like you got your death metal, your black metal, your this metal, your that metal. I don't know what the fuck is what. So, I think the less barriers, the less little genres, the better. We can all just come under the roof of having a good time and enjoying some good music, and not so worried about the look of the people in the crowd.
Yeah, because that is something lately that I've noticed. There's been a lot of labels.
Yeah.
Way too many labels.
Yeah, it got boring for me. Once it started getting all about that, and about fitting into, cliques and crews, and it's kind of lame, But whatever, I got my own opinion. I'm old. I've seen what I've seen,
I totally get that. And a lot has happened as well with the CRO-MAGS.
Yeah.
Do you ever really talk about that incident in New York?
About all of it. I have nothing. Shit. I wrote about it in my book. I'm not hiding anything. To this day, I would love nothing more than for all the CRO-MAGs to be able to come together and say, you know what, let's give it to them one time. Let's give the people what they really want. But I don't think those guys are really ready to get to that place in life yet. I don't think they've gotten past themselves, really. I mean, because I myself, even with all the bullshit that's gone down, I wouldn't have a problem being in the same room with any of or all of them. I wouldn't have a problem sharing a stage with them because, for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm sure of myself. I'm confident in who I am and what I do, and secondly, I'm not afraid of any of them. So for me to be in the same room with them really wouldn't be that big a fucking deal. It's like, okay, now what? We're both here. Oh, okay, well, we can either, fight or, we can pick up our instruments and play some music and have some fun, So me, but I'm really lucky because I'm actually playing with a bunch of guys that are a lot more fun to be around and actually want to do it. So, if it's a choice between playing with three assholes who don't really want to do it but are doing it because there's a paycheck there, I think I'd rather, at the end of the day, I want to make the fans happy, so I would do that. And for me, there'd be nothing better than all of us being able to, I won't say forgive each other, but for everybody to have a group hug would be, wonderful. I don't see it happening, but I'm much happier playing with guys who want to be out playing with me, guys who want to have fun, guys who don't have a fucking major ego problem. I honestly just think John really, he can't fit in the room with anybody else. His head's too big, and I actually, I own the trademarks to the names CRO-MAGS, and I recently offered all of them a percentage. I said, I'll split this up evenly with all you guys if you'll just come to the table and have a conversation about this. And John said no. So that's that.
So, yeah, that says a lot, I think, right there.
I mean, like I said, he's not there yet, I mean, you could talk all this Hare Krishna bullshit and all this PMA shit, but if you can't even get in a room with another motherfucker just because you got issues, then all that shit is a bunch of bullshit, straight up.
Because it's about forgiveness.
If you were really a spiritual dude, you'd be the first one wanting to make everybody happy. You'd be the first one trying to embrace your old friends, trying to drop the drama, drop the beef. But that shit's just a bunch of bullshit. It's a fucking, it's just his sales pitch. Otherwise, if that shit was real, the CRO-MAGS would have already been back together a long time ago.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's a shame. But you've moved on. You're out here. You're playing.
I can't force motherfuckers to want to be, friends or get along, Yeah.
And some people just never will. That's just their nature.
I changed a lot when I had kids, and I learned a lot about what really matters in life and how short it is, and how those moments are really precious. And I don't think those guys are there yet. I think you have to learn how to care about other people before you can really come to terms with yourself or with life or anything.
I completely understand, and sometimes it takes some big shakeup to make that happen.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a world of shit for you to have that realization. And for some people, sadly, I don't know if it ever happens. But, all we can do is try to, live our lives, try to be good people, try to treat other people good and fairly, and be good to each other. And that's all we can really do. I don't tell people, you got to be a vegan, you got to eat this, you got to do that. I don't give a fuck what anybody does. Just be good to each other. That's where we could all start. We can start there. Be good to each other, be good to the animals, be good to the planet, and we'll start there.
Start there, and hopefully it will snowball and be a heck of a lot better than even expected.
Maybe we won't wind up with people like Donald Trump, for president and shit like that.
God help us all.